So again, today's Tech Shop is on Brightspace, assignments, and discussion forums. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to jump over here to my page. Don't need this one. What I've gone ahead and is set up this demo site. It's just kind of basically about comic book culture, those types of things. I was just thinking of things that I'm not really into comic books per se, but I do like the movies. So I thought I can just give some examples of how you can discuss certain things in forums, that type of thing. Really, again, this is our homepage, and the assignments tool is listed up here at the top, just like the discussions tool. And currently for our nav bar, this is the way it's going to look for the fall semester. But in the spring, we're going to be able to open that up and let professors choose what tools they use. But we do suggest the assignments tool and the discussions, just so the students know where things are, kind of leaving those there. But right now, let's go ahead and click on assignments. And as you just saw in the announcements area, we are promoting the Brightspace Pulse app for the students. Don't forget to mention that in your class. It's just a nice way for the students. They love their phones, so it's a good way to kind of keep track of your classes and so forth. So if you don't have any assignments, the first thing you see is when you pop in here is there's nothing listed. So you can go where it says edit categories, and you can create categories for your assignments. Let's say you want to have categories for different weeks or maybe different subjects. This is where you would create that. And you just hit add category, and you can give it a name. Let's see, we can just call this one papers and hit create. And it's just listed there, and hit close. And if you want to delete a category, that option was there as well. That's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go ahead and create a new assignment. Again, we just hit new assignment. And the first thing we need to do is give it a name. That's one of the few things in assignments that you must do is create a title. So let's call this essay number 1. And if you choose to have this added to the grades area, you would click here. As you see now, it's in the grades area. That's what this little ribbon indicates. And if you want to give it the points, we'll just give it 100. Easy to keep track of. And if we want to give it a due date, we would just click right here. Today is the 25th. Let's give them, how about a week? So we'll make it the 1st. And you can give it a certain time. So it's going to end at the very end of that date, 11:59. That's when it'll be due. And here's where you can give the different instructions. You can just write, write a page essay, or how about, let's see, 100 word essay on, Batman. Batman is a favorite comic book character, so we'll do that. And then if you wanted to add, change your text in any way, you can make it bold, italicized. If you want to add certain links, if you want to have bullet points, you can have them listed here. If you want things to center different ways, it's all kind of up to you. There is the insert stuff button here. If you want to insert a certain file, if you want to add a video note, we've showed that before. You just would click here, and it would enable you to actually create a live video recording. Because I'm using my webcam now, it's going to not let me do that here. But if I wasn't using it, it would let me pop open a video here. I could create a little message inside of the instructions and to tell the students exactly what you want them to do, that type of thing. And just hit cancel there. Again, you could add links. You can insert an image. If you need to make this bigger, you can click bigger here. If you need to type a lot more things, and this takes you back where you were. And this is neat. You can also stretch this out this way, up and down. There are more features listed here as well. You can change the fonts. So there's lots of different ways you can describe in your instructions here. You can also add an attachment. If you have a certain file you want them to look at or address in your assignment, let's say your assignment is actually some questions or that type of thing, and you upload the document, and then they have to put the questions or put the answers inside of that document. They can save it on their computer, put it in, and then they can re-upload that with a different title. If you need to link this to something else inside of Brightspace, this is where you can also add a web link. So lots of different features. And these two are new to us because we didn't really have this inside of Sakai. If you record, you can click here and record audio. And again, you have the option to record video here as well. So this part is pretty simple to set up. Let me show you some of the, in particular, settings that you have available to you. Olaf is listed over here on the right. The first of the three options here is availability to dates and conditions. So we open them up here. Here you can have a start date. That's when the assignment is available. Let's click it now. The end date, let's say we're going to make it on the 4th of September. So you notice this end date is later than the due date. It's really up to you how you want to do that. But in this case, if they turn it in past this date, they still have the option of turning it in. However, it will mark it as late. But the end date itself, once that end date comes, it's no longer available for them to turn in. So that's just different ways you can set up your dates. There's also a release condition option. Click up there, we can create a new release condition. For example, they need to view some content in order for this assignment to be available to them. Special access, that refers to if you have a student who needs maybe longer time to do the assignment, you would click that box, and then you need to add that particular user here. I forgot to add users to this course, so it's not going to show me the users, but it would show you a list of all the students in your course, and then you would pick that one. You would change the date as to when they need that. And it all depends on their accommodations that they have sent to you to see when that would be available. And this is where you would set that up. And I'll just cancel out of that here. So that's the first area. The second area deals with the submission and completion. In this case, we're going to have, well, first of all, it says the assignment type. If you've created groups inside of your course, then you'll have the option to add this assignment to a particular group. In this case, there's no groups, so it's just an individual assignment. Now under submission type, you have 4 different things you can do. File submission is very common. You just have them submit a document of some type, like a Word document or a PDF, a PowerPoint perhaps. You could choose that option. If you choose the text option, then you're provided with a box, just like this. And this is where they would have to put in their answer to the assignment. Unfortunately, there's either one or the other. In Sakai, you could kind of have both as an option, but here it's either one or the other. Now, also there's the on paper submission. That's if you're in class and you're having this assignment in class and you want them to maybe hand something in, and then once it's handed in, then you would confirm that type of thing. Might be kind of more work, but if that's something you do, this is an option for you. And this is also if there's something that they need to do in class, like that you observe, it's a project or those types of things. This is the option that you would pick for that type of scenario. So I'm going to hit file submission. In this case, by default, it's set as unlimited, meaning they can upload as many files for this particular assignment as they want. I could choose it so it's only one file, and then that'll be the only file that they have available to upload. So there are different scenarios that you can do for that. It just depends on how you want to set it up. If you only want to keep the latest one, there's only one submission allowed, or all of them are kept. Also, if you wanted to have an email sent to you when a submission comes, this is the email, a place that you would want to put that email. And it just depends. I would suggest always checking Brightspace often, especially when you have assignments that are out there. But if you do want to get an email, this is where you would place your email in case it's a different one. And that's for the submission and completion. So under evaluation and feedback, this is the place that you can add different kind of other side settings to your assignment. For example, you can add a rubric. You just click add rubric and create a new one. It'll take you to the rubric section and you can create your rubric. And if there are rubrics that you've created in here and you want to reuse them, you can always use the import function to move it to a different course. And here's where you want to add your learning objectives if you have those. Click manage learning objectives. And if you don't have any, you can just click associated here. And these are the ones that you may have created in the past. Learning objectives and competencies aren't things that we have really had workshops on yet, but that's something we're going to have in the future, that type of thing. I turn the phone down here a little bit. And one big thing here is by default, the annotation tool is made available to you. So if your student submits an attachment, you can open it up and there are tools there you can use to comment on the document itself. And it can be very handy for grading purposes. So that's set by default. If you do have an assignment that you want to have so it's anonymous, you would check here. Maybe it's some type of survey or those types of things. This is one option that is made available. There is a survey tool for those types of things, but just want you to know that it's there. But something that is used a lot at Shepherd is Turnitin integration. If you click here, it's going to open up the Turnitin integration area. And in order to enable it, you must click the grade mark here. Once you click it, it's going to connect this site to Turnitin. Just like here, it says, please wait while we connect to Turnitin. And if you've used that before, it's just a plagiarism tool. You can check to see to make sure that whatever they've submitted, their paper hasn't been submitted somewhere else or in a different class. And there are lots of different settings you can go to. You can enable the originality checker here. If you go to more options, another window will pop up and you can see all the different settings that are available. You can have a max grade. You can have these different things checked. If you've used Turnitin, these things will look familiar. You can exclude quoted materials. It depends on how you want to use Turnitin. Right now I'm just going to not use it for this minute, but that's how you would turn on Turnitin. And I mean, that's in a nutshell how you do your assignments. But there is one added feature that I wanted to point out. By default, however, they're kind of set in a draft mode, so the students wouldn't see it. And here in Brightspace, they kind of talk about visibility versus being hidden. Down here at the bottom, there is a visibility link here. So I'm not going to click it now. I want you to see what it looks like when you don't. So I hit save and close. And now it's loading our assignment here. And now we have our one assignment. If you remember, we actually had it go to the grades area. That's what this symbol is. But if you notice, now it has this little eye and it's hidden. So actually, I had one professor, one student email me this week, and she said that she couldn't see any of her assignments. So I went in and I noticed that the class, all the assignments were hidden. So that's why she couldn't see them. And so that's something we've kind of had to address, make sure that those types of things happen. But in your list of assignments here, if you click on the little icon next to it, there's an option here that says make visible to users. Just click it here, and it's going to make it visible for the learners. And that symbol disappears. When we originally created the assignment, we could have just changed that there at the bottom, but I just did it here, and it's fine. So it gives you the date that it's due. No one's completed anything yet, so because there's no students, I need to add those later. But if you had a new submission, you would just click here, and then the student could, then you could click on it, and then you could go ahead and grade that assignment. There's a couple more features here before I take some questions on assignments. If you click here and then bulk edit, if there are more assignments listed here, you would see a lot of them listed. This is where you can change the name, the dates. You can do that for all your assignments at once. Like I didn't have a category here, so I'm just going to put this under papers and hit save. This can be very useful if you have a lot of assignments already listed. You've growing your course. Under more actions, you can also reorder. So I'm going to go ahead and create another assignment so you can kind of see what that looks like. I'll just make it real fast. Again, we always need a title. I'll just call it essay number 2. And I'm not going to worry about any dates right now. I just need to have something listed in there. So I'll make it visible. Save and close. And now we have 2 things listed. This one is not in a category, so we'll put it in. Click there, and we'll hit bulk edit. And when I created it, I could have added it to a category, but I did not. So, and hit save. You don't have to use categories if you don't want to. It's up to you. Let's see here. So I want to rearrange. So it looks like essay 1 was number 1. And I want to make that 2. I'll just hit 2 there and hit save. And now that switched them. So that's how you would reorder your assignments. So it's not really done by the title. I think it's done by the date that it was due, or maybe the date that it's been created, that type of thing. But it's pretty simple to go in and just reorder them here. You can do a preview, again, reorder. There are event logs. This is how you would hide it or make visible if they're not visible. And if you would check it here, it would enable you to delete your assignment if you don't really want to use that one. Let's see here. I want to see what this is. Oh, this is if you want to edit the category. I didn't notice that. You're going to change the name of your category. That's there. And if you want to edit your category, let's go back here. I think there's a way to just delete categories. I want to check that out. Yeah. So I don't really want a category. I'm just going to hit delete. And I'm hoping it doesn't delete my assignments. Let's see what happens. Okay, hit close. Yep. So I have my assignments, but there's no categories. So if you don't want a category, you don't have to have them. So, okay. So is there any questions regarding assignments right now? I'm going to check on the chat here.
Do you prefer them to be verbal or in the chat?
Whichever you like. Now that your mic's open, we can.
I'm sorry.
Hey, no worries.
So first, I just wanted to be very transparent. When setting up my class, I made that mistake about visibility.
Oh.
And I assumed that it was going to be visible automatically on Monday as the first day of classes. Mm-hmm. And then I went and I'm in the tool constantly. And then I said, wait a minute, I wonder why when I clicked on student view, and I realized what I had done. So I went in very quickly and I opened everything up so it was visible. So that's, yeah, I'm guilty as charged.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's how we learn, right?
Absolutely. But one of the questions that I have is my students they're in the process of submitting assignments.
Yes.
To me. So they're uploading the assignments. And the first assignment is something that I need to sign. And then, so I've signed it, I created images of it, and I've asked the students to reload it so that I have the most current version. And I was just curious if you know, Rich, is there a way for me to upload, another iteration of a document? Because right now I'm asking my students to do it.
Do you mean like maybe sending files back and forth to the student?
Yes.
Yeah, the assignments tool is kind of made, you send them something and then they send you something and then it's graded. Yeah. In Sakai, we had what's called a Dropbox, where files will be transferred back and forth. And in Brightspace, I mean, if you look at the very top, Brightspace looks at the assignments tool as a Dropbox, like they even used to call it Dropbox here.
Yes.
But I think we kind of made a workaround. If you go to the groups tool and you create a certain type of group, what it can do is it can add a little file area into that group. And so each student has their own group, and you can share files just to that particular student.
Oh.
And they can add files back and kind of go back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
So I can show you how to do that if you like.
Yeah, what we can do is we can work on that offline. I was just
Okay.
curious because
Oh, yeah.
I had 5 documents signed today, and I imaged them, and then I sent them back to the individual students one at a time by email and said, hey, can you please upload this final iteration so that we all have the most current, on record electronically. And so far, that's the only way that I knew to do it. So yes, I will make time to meet with you and we can talk. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, like Thursday or Friday, or we can definitely set up a time. I'll have time.
Absolutely,
Okay.
sir.
That's good. So is there any more questions regarding assignments?
Rich,
Yes.
this is Sharon Flamet. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing okay. It's been a tough week so far, but it's been good.
I bet. I even wrote to you and said, help.
No worries.
I was grading papers last night, and they really don't have a grade on them. The students wrote to me and introduced themselves and what kind of a learner they were and what they expected from the class. And so I wanted to give them a lot of feedback so that they knew that I'd actually read them and appreciated their time. And when I went to put in the feedback, at the bottom you hit publish. When I hit publish, does that mean only the student can see it or everybody can see it?
So is this in the assignments tool specifically?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So each individual assignment, it only goes to that student.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. At first I was scared to death to publish it because I was like, oh, I don't want other people getting someone else's feedback, of course.
Yeah.
But
yeah. In the discussions area, it does go
to everyone.
depending on the forum and all that kind of thing. And I'll show you that just once we're done here with assignments. But
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Great question, Sharon.
Thank you.
So I know we had some people just join us. Just kind of wanted to throw it out there. Is there any specific assignment questions we could answer?
Hi, Rich.
Hi.
One question I have is how to deal with extra credit assignments.
That's a good question. I know there was an issue with assignments in the past, and that kind of deals with extra credit in the past, like with Sakai, how you would go about doing that. I guess it depends on how you want to grade it. I mean, there's the grades area. You could have certain assignments that are worth like that. I think there's waste included in the grades, like you could have it so it's bonus points. But specifically in the assignment itself, in Sakai, how do we do the assignments there with extra points? I don't remember really being an option.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did it on Sakai,
Yeah.
but I figured Brightspace has more abilities, and I just wanted to know if there was a specific extra credit button or anything that doesn't hurt everyone's grades if they don't do it because it is an extra assignment.
Okay.
But just something that gives them credit towards their class participation grade if they do complete it.
I'm going to kind of research a little bit more about that because I think there definitely should be better ways. Maybe not directly in the assignments, but just how we can show extra credit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. There are a lot of things in Brightspace that we didn't have in Sakai, and some of them we're just exploring. I know there's things like you might have heard about intelligent agents. There are ways to set it so, like, let's say a student hasn't logged in for a certain number of days. You can have it so it automatically lets them know or contacts them, and there's different things like that that we haven't quite explored inside of Brightspace. So we haven't really delved into every little detail. So I'm excited to learn more about. I'm sure there are more extra credit options. We just kind of have to figure that out. So, okay, so let's kind of take a quick look at the discussions area. Discussions are just the forums area, similar to Sakai when you have discussions back and forth for different students. Let's see. Okay. So discussions, similarly to in Sakai, discussions themselves are basically a container. Just think of it as a box, and the discussions actually hold, or the forums, they hold the topics. So really the first thing you need to do is create a forum. And you could have different forums for different things, for different areas of your class and so forth. Personally, just to kind of get started, I would just have call it class forums. And your forum needs a title. Just like this little asterisk here. You can use this rich text box to put whatever you want, just like the other parts of Brightspace. You can make this one anonymous. Moderator needs to approve before, but that's going to create a lot of work for you to moderate each thing that comes through. You know, they need to first put their own thread in before they can comment on another one. This is typically checked, but in this form, it's just going to be basically a container. So I'm going to just leave it as save and close. And now it's just going to create a box to hold my topics. So this is my form here. And the first thing I'm going to do is add a topic. So I mentioned before that this was kind of a comic book demo site. So I'm going to have my question here. Marvel versus DC. And then my question can be, let's see here. Which one is best? Now, people that enter into comic books, they would have very strong opinions about these types of things. So this should bring up some conversation. But again, for any topic, you can have a moderator that wants to prove. Let's say you want certain types of language listed in your topic. But again, that's going to take time for you to moderate each one, and that's up to you. But basically, this one is very commonly checked. Users must start a thread before they can read to others. It's typical for discussion forums that they have to post their thread and then they need to respond to 2 other ones, that type of thing. That's very common in online classes. But you can also do it for your face-to-face as well, if you want them to meet and even talk about it in class with each other. You can do that either way, but this is a way that you can have it online and so forth. There are certain restrictions you can give. And that's basically the start and end dates and so forth. You can lock your topic so they will still be able to see it, but they can't actually add to it. The release conditions, again, that has to do with maybe they need to read something and you can from their content area, and you can add those as you like. And if you've created groups inside of your course, this is where you would add it to just certain groups. And under assessment, you can choose to add it to the grades area. Right now, there's no grade item, so you need to create grade item here. This is where you put your score, if you want to add your rubric, those types of things. And you can click here to actually have it grade certain posts. Now, this is the calculation method. This is not something I've explored, but there's a way to test out all these different things. Average scores, use the maximum score. Lots of different options if you wanted to try that out. I'm just going to uncheck that because that's not something I'm going to try for this one.
Rich,
Yes.
can you set that to drop the lowest discussion grade?
Let's see here. I think it did. Highest on multiple post score. It doesn't say it can drop it. So let's say you had 10 different posts. I guess it would take the average, make the maximum score. This is the mode, so that's the highest on multiple. Yeah, so lots of options. I don't know if you can drop it. Yeah, it doesn't list that option there. We didn't really have this option in Sakai, so it gives you a lot more flexibility. It's pretty neat. And again, if you have objectives in your class that you want to use, this is where you would access that there. And you would just hit save and close. If you wanted to add a new topic as well, you would hit save and new, Oh, looks like I need a score. Okay, let's give it a score. And hit save and new. And I need to select a calculation. Okay. Oh, because I have this checked. Okay. With that. There we go. So Brightspace is good about setting certain parameters, certain things. So now it's asking for another topic. And I can create whatever topics I want. Let's just kind of back out of there. And now we have our form, which is called class forms. And this is our link here. Includes, it's going to be in the graded area. And it already has listed here, must post first. So this is the question that pops up. So basically the students will just click this link. And they'll click start a new thread. And once they get in there, they can, first they must have a subject. I'm just gonna answer my own post. And then I'll hit post. Now notice something that's checked here, it's called subscribe to this thread. Now what subscribe means that now you're gonna get a message when people add to the thread. At the very top here of your Sakai page, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say that a lot, of your Brightspace page, there is an area called subscriptions. And so whenever someone will comment on this, it'll automatically pop up here. So you can see when the thread's been updated. It's kind of like a post inside of maybe Facebook or something on, you know, Snapchat or those types of things. And so I just hit post. Oh, it looks like I need post is required. So I gave it a title, but I actually need to say something. Let's see, I'll put this here. Very good. And well, I'll just put, I'm a Marvel guy. So hit post, there we go. So now my thread's been created. And now other students could reply to it. You know, I can't see the reply button because I'm not gonna reply to my own post, but that's how they would click on it and hit reply. And that's how it'll work. And it will just kind of scroll down once you get all your threads posted. You can sort by recent activity, by certain people. Well, a lot of different options here. So by first, last name, subjects. So it gives you a lot of functionality.
Rich, I have a question.
Go right ahead.
Is there any way to see the analytics to see like if someone has posted like they're supposed to? Because my students are supposed to create a thread and then post it to others.
Yes.
So is there any way to check to see if they've done that?
Well, I think you can, let's see, sort by like a particular student, you can look up that student this way. But also if you go to class progress, that's the other tool listed up here. I think you can check if a student has, I need to add a student here. Let me add a student. It's not very useful here if we don't add a student. Who should I add? Let's add this guy. Maybe, hopefully he won't mind. Let's see who pops up here. 3 Richies. Well, we're going to pick this one because that's me. So it's okay. And he's going to be a learner. Okay. So I'm in the class. I need to hit done. Now let's go back to our class progress. He just started because he just got in, so he hasn't done anything yet. But yeah, so you can see how he's accessed and so forth. If you click on his name, you can see what grades he has, what content he's visited, what things he's done. It can be very granular. Let's see here. Discussions. You click on that, and you can see what he's looked at. You know, he hasn't responded to anything, but yeah, so you can go to each section here and it gets a lot more granular. You can really assess where the student is and that type of thing. So yeah, it's a, I don't think you were here for Sakai, but this is a great improvement from what we had before. We did have a statistics tool, but it wasn't nearly as user-friendly as this. So it's a big upgrade in that sense.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So then any questions on discussions? Oh, it does add a picture here too. I know a lot of professors have kind of asked the students to put in their profile, and so they'll be able to see their picture if they've added it here. Actually, I didn't show you some of the things up here. Let me make sure you can see that. More actions, you can reorder your posts. Restore, I guess that's something you've had deleted. Your subscriptions are listed here. Oh, okay, yeah. So this shows you what you're going to have up in your mini bar. This is the mini bar. Notifications in the mini bar only. If you're going to get a summary, but lots of different options you can have. Group and section restrictions. These are if you have groups and you have forms just for particular groups. And that can become a little more complicated, but it can be very handy if you have group work. Even if it's a face-to-face, you can have groups that meet at different times or maybe meet outside of class, you know. And there's this statistics tab right here. So this might be more granular for what you were looking for, actually. Forms and topics. You can see what's happening in this particular forum. If you go by the user, you can pick the user.
Rich, my laptop is very small. What did you click into when you said that that one would be better?
Let's see here. Let me move up here. Well, I did find when you kind of reset the discussions tool area, the first thing that pops up is this discussion list. And I didn't notice it, or I forgot to mention that there's also a statistics link here. Yeah. So the class progress is more for the whole site itself, but this tool is, or this part of the tool is specifically just for the discussions.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And a lot of times you're going to see this little settings area for a lot of the tools inside of Brightspace. When I'm clicking in here, it's mainly just going to show you how you can change the look of things. It's not really changing any settings, but that option is available to you. Let's see, cancel. Yep. So that's discussion forums in a nutshell. Again, if you have forums, you can put the description of the forum, but also remember, you just need to create a topic. So then to see your courses or to see the topics and everything. And you can click on your name here and choose view as a learner just to make sure they can see that. And also for your assignments to make sure they're visible. It's always very handy. So
that's how I found out that my students couldn't see the discussion on day one.
That's okay.
I went in as a learner and I'm like, I know it's there. And I go back and the little eyeball still is visible. And I'm like, why is it not there? And then I didn't have a topic. So they just couldn't see it. Right.
That's okay. That's how we got it going. That's why I suggest just creating a forum and then dumping everything in that one forum, Right. Yeah, but if you can, like, I know one professor, they had their forums, but then they had one kind of at the bottom, and then they had the topic of, if you have any technical questions, ask them here and we can direct them. If you have it's like a separate place to ask questions. But that's that one thing, you got to always remember to add a topic, but you won't make that mistake again, right?
No,
Yeah,
but
right.
I've got two more things in there and I don't have any idea how I got them in. So I'm going to go back and I think I've created like different forums, and I think I need to go back in and just make it one forum and then add the topics.
There you go. Sometimes it's just, the more forums you add, it can get kind of confusing. Like, well, where is this? Where's my topics?
Right. I think what I'll do is I'll delete it. And then I may be calling you saying, help me.
Well, you can, I think you can just go in here under more actions and hit reorder.
Okay.
It's not going to be that useful here because I only have the one, but you can just reorder them here.
Okay.
And I do have the one form, but I think they would have other forms listed here. You can reorder them. I'm not sure if you can move them to different forms. That would be handy.
One of the things that I do is I find that the videos, I just go back and rewatch the videos, and I just, because I have two computers here at the same time. So I just do it step by step, and I'll stop and do it
That's
come
great.
back.
That's how you do it. Mhm. Let's see here. That reminded me of something I wanted to show. Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, if you have more Brightspace issues or questions, just kind of reset your page. And on our far right here, we do have our links to our Shepherd CTL page. And I do want to get my videos up there. They're on the Brightspace team, but I know not everyone kind of goes to team. But these two sections, Brightspace for instructors, it's a very handy tool because the videos are 1 to 2 minutes. You might find a 3-minute one occasionally, but they're very short and they tell you how to do it right there. Like you said, you can just go to it, have it open on one screen. And the ones for learners, we even have a learners training page on the CTL site under Brightspace info. And yeah, so we have lots of things about there if you need some help.
Thank
So-
you again.
Oh, no problem. Do we have any other questions?
So I have a question, but it's not about discussions. It's more about assignments.
Oh, no problem.
So I created an assignment in which students had to, they just had to put something in the text box, but I did submission files. So it would give them the option if they wanted to attach it. Because I remember with Sakai, it was, you could do the text box as well as the attachment, that sort of thing. But I had a student who ran into this issue where they didn't really have anything to attach. They put all their work in the text box, but because I did file submission, it was forcing her to attach something, which I thought was really, really odd. But so I guess my question is, if we create an assignment and under where it says submission completion, instead of file submission, if I click on, let's see, what are the other options? Yeah, if I do text submission, can they
Yes.
still attach something if they want to?
Well, that's the thing I found odd is I think it's either one or the other, which I found very odd because, in Sakai, like you said, you could set it up so you could either do an attachment or put it in the box. So I did find it odd that it's not listing that as both. I think if you pick one, then it's only going to let you put in one submission. What I can try to do is I'm going to log into, see if I can try to do it here. Log into my student account and see if I can kind of go back and forth and we can see what it looks like. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah, because I was wondering if with the text submission, they should have that HTML bar where they can insert stuff.
Yes.
So if they inserted a file or, like through that bar, then I wonder if that's a way to go around it.
That's definitely a good idea. Let me check that out here. So I have the assignment here, but I did change it to text submission. So let me log in to see if it's going to let me log in. There you go. Okay. And go there. Okay, so I hit save and close. So SA1 should be a text submission only. So I've logged into Brightspace on my student account. I'm going to drag it over here so you can see it once it loads. Okay. And we open that up. All right, so this is my student account. And we're going to go back to this comic book demo site and go to our assignment. And I've not added to my content area, but that's something we talked about in other lessons. You could just easily add that to wherever you want in your module. But here's essay number 1. So it says not submitted. And so I click on it. So it's text submission. Okay, yeah, so there's no place to attach. And move this out of the way here.
I wonder if you click on the insert stuff button, if you can attach a file.
Let's try that here. Course offering file. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember trying this before. Notice all these different options. There's no get from your computer.
Right.
Course offering files. Let's see what this lets me do. Let's see. These are what types of files. I was wondering if it let me grab something from my locker, but I don't see, maybe I don't have anything in my locker.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought of that. That's a clever way to get around that issue. Let's see here.
Yeah, this is gonna make me rethink a few assignments just because I know some students like to just insert their link to, a Word document, let's say, and then others like to actually upload it. But now I have this conundrum of how do I create an assignment to really meet all of the students' needs,
Mhm.
and rather than just, doing it one way. So
Well, if it's a link, there is an option to insert a link.
right, right.
That's an option. There you go. So for those types of things that you could do with that. But you went for the attachment itself. I think if it was let's see now what it looks like. The other one was adding an attachment, I thought. Let me take a look at that one. Say okay. So this looks like actually the one that said add an attachment. It does
Mhm.
give you the option here for this text box. Well, no, it says comments. That's interesting. I wonder if you can put it there. Let's
Yeah, so I had some students who, they were able to put their links down there, but they didn't have a PDF to attach.
Mhm.
So that was, they didn't know what to attach because others. So I'm working with this program called Cami, and basically they take a reading and they take notes on the reading and then they post their notes. So some of them use the link version where they just shared it through a link, and then others downloaded the PDF and then uploaded it to Brightspace. For those who provided the links, they didn't really have a PDF, so they were just putting in a random PDF. And when I was going through the assignments, I was like, what on earth is this? This doesn't even have anything to do with the assignment. But then when I looked at their comments, it explained like what they were doing. So I thought that was interesting. But
could they put the link here? Do you think that would work?
yeah, they were putting the links in the comments. So all of that worked fine. It was just the issue with, the attachment where if they didn't have one with this one, they had to submit they had to attach a file. Otherwise, it wouldn't let them submit the assignment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see the asterisk now. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's different. I'm not sure why you don't have that option. I wonder if you could do a video instead.
Yeah, I think I'll have to just tell them to get their links or something.
You might have to, yeah, just kind of rethink a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, there's not a better option there.
Yeah, it's okay. I just wanted to explore because obviously you guys know better than I do. So I would just wanted to see if there's something I was missing.
Well, that's okay. I mean, we got Brightspace this earlier in the spring. So yeah, we've had training, but I mean, there's little things here and there that we're all going to kind of pick up on, and that's okay. I mean, we had Sakai for 10 years, so
Yeah.
we kind of knew that like the back of our hand, so to speak. But yeah, and we want to constantly be, if y'all find new things that we don't know about, that's always great. We can pass it along. We're all just learning and trying to, get better with this. So.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I guess we can be done for today. Did you have any more questions?
Nope, that was it. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Red.
No problem. All right. Well, have a good day. We'll see you later.
Thank you.